Hello, Reliving the Extreme listeners. Do you enjoy this podcast? Well, obviously you do because you're listening. If you enjoy this podcast and you shop on Amazon, why not wrap that all into one and give our podcast a little bit of support? All you have to do is when you want to shop on Amazon, instead of going to Amazon.com, go to www.tinyurl.com/extreme Amazon. By going there to do your Amazon shopping, you don't spend anything extra, and what it does is it throws a little commission our way here just to support the podcast. So, like I said, if you like to shop on Amazon and you are a fan of this podcast and want to throw us some support, we appreciate it. That is www.tinyurl.com/extreme Amazon. Now, let's relive the extreme.
Living the extreme.
My name is Bubba Ray Dudley.
I don't need a weapon. My hands are my weapons.
This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are finally finishing up 1993 in ECW, and oh, what a journey it has been. We started in April of 93, and now we are on the last show, December the 28th of 1993. Nate Maxon here with you, along with Mr. Chad Austin.
Hey, fellow people.
And my brother Aaron, of course.
Hello, everybody.
And Chad really takes up a good chunk of this week's show. This ECW, I want to tell you, I went to the Pro Wrestling Torch website in the archives to get the full card for this show so that I can read it later on in the show or what have you. And this isn't going to spoil anything. The opening match of the show is Chad himself against the Pitbull, Gary Wolf, who's making his ECW debut. The guy who wrote the report to the Torch wrote, and I quote, "Somebody beat the Pitbull." And I was like, well, at least he called Chad a somebody. His son of a bitch.
Not a fucking nobody.
I was like, oh, fuck this guy, this Justin or whoever he is.
Man,
I wrote that the Pitbull's debuting on top. Bringing him in, putting him right on top right away.
On the measuring stick.
Yeah.
After I watched it, Nate, I realized I saw exactly what Paul wanted. Like Paul wanted to debut the Pitbull as that murderer, brutal killer guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted the unpredictable factor of me sneaking one over on him, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Because if you would have saw the look on my face when Paul goes, yeah, he goes, Gary, you're going to kill him. I mean, you're going to rub his face in the man. You're going to beat him up and everything. I'm just like, oh, fuck, this is great. You're telling me what the guy's going to do to me. And then he's like, and then when he throws you in, you're going to give him like a spin kick thing that you do. I go, yeah, it's awesome. And he goes, and then you get a 1, 2, 3. I go, what's that? Excuse me? Yeah, Chad, you get the 1, 2, 3. And then Gary just sat there like, I mean, you know, what would you say? You know?
Are you ribbing me?
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think my look was? Because, you know, I was like, well, why am I going?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, he didn't. He knew nobody was going to remember what happened during that match, but he wanted the unexpected factor to happen on that show. And lucky for me, I'm the guy that got chosen for it, you know? Because Gary destroyed me. And I'll be honest, I did a halfway decent show. I mean, didn't I look pitiful? I mean, awful.
You did exactly what you were supposed to do, though. I mean, you put him over and made him look like $100 million, and
or in his case, $100.
I was going to say $100, and then I decided to throw the million in. Have a little respect, Nate. But I mean, if essentially the way the match went down, folks, is Chad took a beating, and the Pitbull did the cocky, confident, go for the pin, pull him up, go for the pin, pull him up, which leads to the upset. A couple of things I wanted to mention. First of all, Joey Styles put Chad over because he said Chad Austin takes the most heinous beatings I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, good on Joey.
Well, that's when I kind of realized they may have had something there going on.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, because I made a note saying Joey kept putting me over.
I've noticed. I was actually going to ask you because watching this, and then the last time you were on, where Joey must have been a fan of yours, because on commentary, Joey is always glaringly putting you over the way that your character should be put over, and. I mean, I don't know if you guys were close at any point, or
no, I didn't know Joey at all. I mean,
okay,
I don't necessarily think it was so much that it was me and Joey. I think Paul, honestly, I think that Paul may have saw something in me and Joey, because that one and only opportunity that I got to cut promos, it was with Joey.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he was just trying to see if we had any chemistry or anything, in the department. But my note was he's putting me over because he's grooming me. When I heard him say he constantly takes the most heinous beatings, whatever, every single week, then I was like, okay, there's something there for me. There's an opportunity for me. I don't know what it is yet, except I'm just going to take more heinous beatings. But honestly, if they're going to tell Joey Styles to go out of the way to mention me, there's got to be something bigger, a bigger picture for me.
Yeah, but definitely a plan. You're in Paulie's plans. Tony Rumble, his quote here.
Still.
Are we supposed to root for the career of Chad Austin? Yes.
Tony Rumble. Are we supposed to root for a career of Tony Rumble?
Piece of shit.
Aaron,
go back to the ICW.
Yeah. Who ended up winning this match of life? Yeah. Chad Austin. That's who. Tony Rumble never kicked out.
Yeah, he didn't see today.
Aaron, your comments on this match before we get to the aftermatch?
It was what it was. It was what it needed to be, and Gary Wolf should not feel any shame. There's no shame in losing to a grizzled veteran. So good for him.
I've been in the business a year and a half. I put my time in, Aaron. My car just had its second oil change.
And it hadn't been stolen by a one-legged Peruvian yet either.
No. Or the catalytic converter.
Well, Chad gets an upset victory over the Pitbull here.
Well, who's an upset?
Okay, what is characterized as an upset victory over the Pitbull? There's a beatdown after the match, and by the way, there is a Chad chant here too. Let's not forget that.
And then one half of the Variety Club comes out, and they boo him. Did you notice that?
They booed the shit out of the Sandman. They booed
one half of the Variety Club, the Sandman.
And they also chanted "Sandman sucks." So at this point, I think this is probably where they're like, okay, we're gonna have to ditch the fucking wetsuit because
we're gonna have to ditch the Chad in the Variety Club with the Sandman people. Because what's going on here? I mean, are we hiring the handicapped people, and the Sandman's going to be their superhero? He's the varsity club defender? Or how is this working? Yeah, Paul has some problems to figure out.
Yes.
around this time. How are they going to handle this Chad Austin thing? Is he in the varsity? Is he in the varsity club? What do they call it?
He's more over than Fullington, that's for sure. Jesus.
The Variety Club. Oh, jeez, Louise.
The Variety World Order. All right.
Does Paul have to call Todd to get dates on Sandman to see if he's doing some stuff for the Variety Club? Hey, I got dates at the ECW Arena on the 7th and the 15th. What do you have Hack doing? Well,
he's got
a charity softball game.
He's got a fish fry on the 7th. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's bingo. It's going to be kind of hard to get dates on Hack at this point. Yeah, you should have tried calling him when we were Eastern Championship Wrestling.
After this segment, there's Matty in the house.
He said my name though.
He did, and he is narrating the highlights from. Actually, these matches are all from Holiday Hell. By the way, we got going into the Chad Austin match, and I forgot to mention that. But we go into highlights from the Mr. Hughes Sandman match, which from all intents and purposes didn't look like it was great.
Oh, I mean, I'm saying, like I put in my notes, if they're showing they clipped this match up, and if they're showing you the highlights, god damn. Imagine what they didn't want to show you.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it?
Sandman and Mr. Hughes.
Oh yeah. And this was after he saved me.
I don't know when the match. Let me look and see when the match took place. Because yes, it would be after he saved you. Because according to the report that I have, that fan report or whatever, it actually looks like you and Gary was the first match on the show.
I'm sure. I'm pretty sure you were. I think. I mean, didn't when Hack come out? I mean, Sandman come out and save me. Wasn't he wearing something different than his match?
He was wearing like a T-shirt and some khakis or something. Yeah, and then
okay, so he's wrestling Mr. Hughes in a different outfit.
In the last suit, yeah.
I just thought, I said, what the hell is this? This is awkward. Like, he just came out to save me, and then you're going to have him do a job.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to. My handwriting sucks right here. Jason, I think it's Joey who says Jason looks like a pimp and baby food or something like that. Did anybody catch that? Like his suit looks like he looks like a pimp dressed like a can of baby or a jar of baby food.
I don't know. Maybe he should have said that.
I have no idea. They're basing this feud off of Jason's mad because the Sandman turned him down to be his manager. That happened like 7 months ago.
Well, he's still bitter. Dude holds a grudge.
What can you say?
He still owes Angel money. He's trying to get Sandman the sign so he can get some money to pay Angel.
I think he still owes Hunter Q Robbins some money too.
Well, there you go. There's your first problem.
Like I said,
Hunter Q Robbins is still a problem. If that's your first problem, then you really got some soul searching to do.
They didn't actually show the finish of this match, I don't believe. And then we jump to a promo from Jason, who is talking about the Pitbull match from earlier with Chad, and talking about, as Aaron said, Sandman turning his services down, and he says, Peaches doesn't tell me no. Have you ever seen Peaches tell me no? And shows him handing her the business card and et cetera, from 7 months ago. And then we get a, how do you like my fur coat?
I don't know. I mean, could they have really done how do you like my everything with Jason? Everything. Like, it's how do you like my remote control? How do you like my, everything? But they just did it from his house. Everybody's wondering what I do in my free time. How do you like my clean sink?
How do you like my Weber grill? Yeah.
How do you like my lazy Susan? Spins it.
How do you like my kitty litters boxes? Well, yeah. I mean, they really could have done that. I don't know what the heat was. I mean, I know there was, and it ended up coming out later on between Jason and Paul. But like we just joked about it. But couldn't you have done that?
Mm-hmm.
You really could have done all kinds of stuff like that with Jason by saying, like, how do you like, this is all the stuff that I have that you don't have.
Right.
And most of it we do have.
And that would be the best part about it,
Yeah. It's like, What's so great about the fact you got cats?
How do you like my credenza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you like my credit score? If I want to, I can buy a new sofa. and Value City Furniture says it can be a luxurious.
And I can have it delivered.
That's right.
Yes. Put it down over there, gentlemen. Put it down over there.
None
Yes.
of that even happens.
We've created a fantastic gimmick here, Chad.
It's just the fact that he orders it. None of it ever gets delivered. Like, none of it ever happens. He just says he can have it.
It's just stand him in front of his TV with QVC on the back in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like when the gimmick's over, you get somebody that calls him out. They go to his house and he knock on his door. They open it up and there's nothing in the house.
How do you like my potential compact computer?
How do you like my potential apartment? What happened to all the stuff?
He's just going on the tour of the apartment. He doesn't even not even renting it. How do you love my attention, my potential apartment?
Like, that's the greatest gimmick. You go for like 6 months where you're buying African artifacts for your apartment and you're buying all this stuff, but you never actually hit the button on your phone to buy it. So when they come to your house, they open the door up and you're all embarrassed because you're squatting.
sitting on one of those plastic patio chairs.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? What Indian style over an ashtray as heat? Like, he's like, what are you doing here? Like, where's all this stuff you got? I mean, you said you bought the the Iron Sheik's boot from the boot camp match. Where's it at? Oh, it ain't delivered yet. You look at, he never bought it.
It's still in the cart.
Yeah. Oh my God. Look,
How do you like my aspirations?
Dude, he was called Still in the Cart Rich.
Oh shit, I love it. Up next on the show, we have wasn't this supposed to be Rebel and Sal? Wasn't I promised Rebel and Sal for this show, this holiday hell?
Well, unless you're on the subscription.
You can't have both the Variety Club there at the same time. Somebody's got to drive the truck.
Yes. How do you think the ring got put up?
We have the Rockin' Rebel against Donnie Allen. Rockin' Rebel wearing a classy shirt that says Sal's wife is a big fat pig.
And 1-800-PORCA. Well, it's not even enough numbers. It's not even enough numbers, but it's still funny. 1-800-PORCA.
Did you try to call it, Aaron?
No.
Not
enough numbers.
Well, I mean, did you try to call it? Did it tell you you need some more numbers?
Add a couple extra A's on the end.
Did you ever call 516-922-WINE?
No.
That's Jackie the Joke Man's home number.
For real?
If you call that number, you'll get a joke on his answering machine every day. And it's been that way since the 90s.
I never knew that.
It's 516-922-WINE.
WINE?
Yep.
Gonna try that tonight. This is essentially a squash. Donnie tries.
No, nobody squashes Donnie. Donnie gets taken advantage because they're Rebel. Rebel's a lot of things. I'll tell you, he's a lot of things. I don't even want to say I have a love hate. I love Rebel, and I've always loved Rebel. And what he did was distasteful and all that other stuff. But when he gets that little bit of an ego where he can abuse people, he abused people. And he kind of like abused Donnie. But him and Donnie were friends. So he took it easier on Donnie than he did on a lot of guys. Mm-hmm. Because he had already had a history with Donnie Allen. And Donnie is harmless, He's not out to take anybody's job, so it wasn't a big deal. But I just didn't like the way Rebel kind of just bitched Donnie like he did by pulling his shirt over. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Did the
he did
hockey pull.
he was a job guy. Donnie was a job guy. Treat him like a job guy, but don't treat him like a fucking piece of garbage guy.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, what did you think?
I agree, and I just think it was kind of an out of place match, and if it wasn't going to be Sal, it didn't even need to happen. I don't think.
Right? Yeah. Why even have a match with Rebel if it's not going to be the match with Sal? Essentially, Donnie tries a high cross body, gets slammed, gets a pile driver, and Rebel goes over. But like Chad
Tony
said,
Tony Rumble says that that pile driver was much like Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and the Rockin' Rebel might even be stronger and better than Paul Orndorff.
Well, that's why Tony Rumble's dead.
I was going to say, that's why we found out many, many moons ago Tony Rumble's full of shit.
It's fucking, it's bad boy. Whatever. I'm not even going to go there. I don't know the guy, but I'm here to talk about what's going on today. He's not.
And this podcast would suck if it was him instead of you. So
Well, it would definitely suck if it was him instead of me.
we have up next the main event, and this was the ECW World Championship match from Holiday Hell. It is Sabu versus Terry Funk. Paulie is out to start to introduce Sabu, as only Paulie can. And I guess we'll go through the match, but overall, Aaron, you want to get us started here?
Well, I just think that I know it was a pre-tape, like it was already done or whatever, but like right before the match even starts, Joey's just like, Terry Funk's the new ECW champion. Here's how it happened. It's like, why you gotta? I don't understand saying, oh yeah, he's the new champion. It's like, just I don't know, that seems stupid to me. But anyway,
So what else do you do?
I don't know. I just it's like maybe not everybody knows that. You know what I mean? Like I obviously hindsight being. This happened in '93, so everybody knows it now. But say you got people that never saw your show before, and they just turn it on, and now you've just spoiled the main event. And just said, "Oh yeah, this guy's the new champ. Why not let it be suspenseful?"
Did you just spoil the main event by saying the finish on the first 10 seconds of us showing the match, or did you spoil it the entire time the match was going on? And you showed it. I mean, Aaron, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, because it's like, but you're also re-educating people that were there.
Yeah.
But like you said, what if somebody was stumbling upon the match? That's why Joey Styles didn't. The commentary wasn't current during the match. I mean, I don't know.
Excuse me. I agree with what you guys are saying, though. It's you could have started with, here's Sabu and Terry Funk. Sabu, the world champion, against Terry Funk from Holiday Hell just 2 days ago in the ECW arena. Boom, you go to the match. Now,
well, yeah. No, what do you do with the today we are going to show you what happened at Holiday Hell between Sabu and Terry Funk. Is that the better Band-Aid?
Yeah.
The better fix. All right.
I know. I know hindsight 20 some years ago, we're just drawing at or we're picking at straws here, but I agree with that.
30 years ago.
Jesus. The match is what you would expect between Sabu and Terry Funk. I actually have a lot of like little notes about the match just in case there were any spots we wanted to discuss. I liked this match. It was chaos, and that is exactly what these two guys are going to bring you is chaos. And they did fast forward. They did fast forward through the match a little bit, probably the rest spots or what have you.
Yes.
Sabu winds up outside early in the match. Sabu winds up outside the ring on a table that is of course draped across the ring and the guardrail, as we would come to see in ECW. And Terry just waylays him with a fucking chair while he's laying on that table.
Yeah,
go ahead, Aaron.
I was gonna say that's one of my notes. Is that looked a little rough.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Sabu could take it, but yeah, that was like Jesus coming in hot here.
Coming in hot.
We see a Sabu split leg moonsault here, and
you missed Terry chasing Paul.
You're right.
Terry chases Paul away from the ring, and Paulie being terrified of Terry Funk is just one of my favorite things in the world. Like you can just hear him screaming like a banshee running away from Terry Funk. It's fantastic. Like all Terry does is look at him, and he just starts screaming, and then Terry chases him. It's great.
Was that right around where there was a Sabu chant? I thought I heard a Sabu chant.
I did too.
At first, I thought I heard a "We Want Blood."
I'd actually have on my notes here a "We Want Blood" chant.
Yeah,
during
then
this
I thought
match.
I heard Sabu.
Sabu.
I'm sorry, I was probably still getting medically attended. I was still in the back, and if I would have heard the 1,000 of people that were cheering my name, I may have ran out there. But I mean, I want to apologize to each and every one of them 1,000 of people.
You might have let him down. You might have let him down, Chad, but that's okay. That's
Maybe
all right.
they piped it in like the Goldberg chants.
Sabu. Sounds like a horror movie gimmick. Some little creepy broad said Sabu. And here I am, I got dirty magazines spread all over the bed. And an undeveloped film hanging behind me.
Listen to this. You're just coming up with gimmicks tonight, Mr. Austin.
Yeah, I'm on fire. I have a lot to do tonight. As far as business wise, I got some things that I'm working on and other things. So I got some notes, and they've kind of bled into what we're talking about tonight. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna see what I can just sprinkle in here. and see where this goes. And apparently it's not going too bad. Hey, did you guys know? I mean, are we just now about to get to the sensational series cherry spot coming in?
It is on its way. They bring a table into the ring, and
that split-legged moonsault spot you're talking about. He hits that split-legged moonsault. And Tony Rumble's like, I've never seen it. Like Joey goes, oh, Sabu hit a split-legged moonsault. And Tony Rumble's stupid ass goes, I've never even seen that before. Does that move even have a name? And Joey's like, yeah, I just called it the split-legged moonsault.
Well, I mean, that's why Tony Rumble's there. I mean, he's there for color. I mean, that's perfect color.
Or lack thereof, yeah.
Well, he's adding black. That's the color that he's adding to that play-by-play. Terrible.
Jim Molyneux even gets fed into the table on this thing.
Oh, how great was Jim?
He kicked off with his leg. Like, he almost ran up the fucking table. It's fantastic.
I didn't know how hard. I didn't know what Jim knew, like, as far as taking bombs. Oh, my God. I was so great. He was so great. I was so proud of him. I didn't know what he knew. And then when Terry grabbed him and he started running with him, and I was like, this motherfucker's going to take the bump. and then he just jumps, like, up on the table. And he still jumps up. You know, he's lucky because he jumped up higher than the table was above the rope.
Mm-hmm.
So that table could have broke while he was above the rope.
Right.
It could have really fucked him up. And I was like, this motherfucker.
That's a bump of the night.
No, it wasn't a bump of the night. I would say, I mean, because I still got some notes on Funk and Sabu that I think were, I thought it was tremendous. Whatever. What was it, Nate? Was it 8 minutes that Paul put together that highlight package of Sabu and Funk?
Yeah.
It was roughly 8 minutes or so.
Right around there. Yeah. And what do I want to say? Like I said, we were talking about them fast forwarding through the match. So again, always saying this, it's a television product trying to get people to come into the arena, which is what wrestling TV used to be. Wrestling TV essentially used to be an infomercial to get you to come to the shows. And if I'm watching this at home in 1993, this is making me want to go to an ECW show. Even though I saw Rock and Rebel earlier. Sorry, Aaron. But getting to watch a match like this with Terry Funk and Sabu, and we'll get into later the hype for the next show as well. But during this match, also, Sabu hits a cool moonsault out onto Bad Breed. When Terry goes over the ropes and just like breaks just the little tip of the table, Like that told you, okay, this isn't a worked table, And but overall, I think a really good match. The finish is Aaron.
The lights go out.
Somebody explain to me what the fuck the finish was.
I don't know. Nate doesn't want to try to. Like, that's why he's putting the burden on me.
Yep.
But the lights go out, and Shane Douglas shows up for some reason and helps Terry win I don't understand why. I don't understand why Shane was helping Terry Funk. I don't understand what's going on.
Right, because there hasn't been any heat between Sabu and Shane. Like they haven't, on TV.
I mean, they had a little bit when like the Dangerous Alliance thing happened or whatever.
Right.
But that hasn't been spoke about in fucking months. And the last time we saw Shane, he was turning on Tommy and joining Taz and Woman and Kevin Sullivan, and now he's doing this, and he's back with Sherry. I have no fucking idea what's going on.
I actually thought, I don't know where we're at on time here. I see where we're at on time. I actually thought that this given day, this given time, this was from Holiday Hell, correct? Is that what
Yes.
they're having us believe?
Mm-hmm.
That this was probably the greatest match that the ECW fans have seen in the ECW arena.
Well, by far. Yeah.
Up to this point. Like, from anything they've ever seen, that's the greatest match they've seen in the ECW arena. And they wouldn't give a fuck if the ice cream truck driver won.
Mm-hmm.
If Bad Bunny showed up, they wouldn't have gave a fuck. That was the fucking, like, that people were going like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
The referee's breaking tape. Everybody's going.
There's a common denominator here, and I absolutely agree with you. This is the best match the ECW has put on in the ECW arena. Actually, this is the best match ECW's had so far, since that we've been watching. I would say a close second would be that first Taz Sabu match that we saw.
And then Wolfman and Funk.
Oh, Wolfman and Funk.
Can't forget Wolfman Funk.
Let's not forget.
The match so nice they had to play it twice. Can't forget that match.
If you're gonna put If you're gonna put the Wolfman up there, what about that fantastic Meltzer classic between Jimmy Snuka and Chad Austin?
Oh yeah.
Nothing. I got no votes.
Aaron said, "Oh yeah."
He said, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like what? What? Are you just saying? Oh yeah. What about it? Oh yeah. Don't forget to include it.
Definitely top 5.
Aaron, you're gonna regret that. I'm telling you. When you see me and Donnie Allen in our crusade against 911. Yeah, we're going to teach him a lesson because I'm still the one standing here today.
He's dead too, isn't he?
Well, everybody said he's not, but I think
it's like Paul McCartney. Like,
yeah, he's Paul McCartney 1-1.
Well, Paul McCartney 1-1. The Aaron just went through the convoluted finish of this match, but the biggest takeaway here, Terry Funk is, for the first time, the ECW World Heavyweight Champion, or just the ECW Champion, I guess, at this point. They aren't proclaiming their title a World Heavyweight Championship yet. But Terry Funk wins, and absolutely, Chad is correct. This is the best match that we have seen in the ECW arena so far. These two guys together, to me, is magic. It's especially at this time. I always say that, like I feel like a broken record, but for people that may be listening that have watched ECW but they're younger and they didn't live, actually through wrestling during this time period, this was so much different than anything at least in the States for sure, than you would see on wrestling television. You're watching you're getting into literally the most boring time. My personal opinion on WWF on Monday Night Raw, this 93-94 is boring as shit. WCW's garbage at this point. I mean, they have a few good things like Flair and Vader and etc. But this right here is, at this time, revolutionary stuff on American wrestling television, at least for this time period.
Well, Nobody knew what they had, so it wasn't like Roadhouse Patrick Swayze when he goes into that garage and he finds that Mercedes gimmick
Mm-hmm.
because he's going to start a whole new thing, and
Right.
he lifts that thing up and there's Sabu and Taz and New Jack Sandman Dreamer and Raven. Well, who knows? It could have been. They could have all been just sitting in there underneath a fucking,
And up rises the smoke.
Yeah. I mean, all these fucking idiots could have been sitting underneath the fucking garage for all these years, waiting for Patrick Swayze to discover them. And Patrick Swayze is Paul Heyman. Go figure. Could you imagine if they would have swapped out Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse and put Paul Heyman?
I'm thinking more like, what if he's in Dirty Dancing?
I'm telling you, I'm gonna make this show an hour.
Nobody backs Paulie in a corner.
Yeah.
And Maddie in a house is fucking Sam Elliott.
He's like, nobody puts Maddie in the corner. And like he lifts Maddie up.
And that's when he walks into the ECW arena and he finds Maddie stabbed to death in the ring.
Or
Come on.
Paul and Maddie and Ghost. They're making their clay pot.
Oh, we're getting an hour out of this.
Unchained Melody playing in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Oh, we're sorry.
And we're sorry to our listeners. Sorry, guys and gals. We have a Paulie Dangerously promo after this match. And he already is starting, like I said, this is where I was saying we're already trying to promote the next show, talking about how Shane Douglas and Terry Funk now are going to fight for the championship on January the 7th in the ECW arena. We get a Terry Funk promo with the Bad Breed. He talks about Shane Douglas. He talks about how he is better than these has-beens, Bruno Sammartino and Lou Thez.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, what did Bruno and fucking Lou Thez ever do? And in the corner of Swanson and Rittner. I mean, they may have done a whole bunch of stuff in 129 and 39, and other streets and everything that they've probably been big stars at, but Bruno was never a star in the corner of Swanson and Rittner. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on here.
I'll tell you.
And as far as the Rottens go, I want to hear your guys' honest opinion on what you think of the Rottens promos, because as a matter of fact, I'll let you tell me first what you think before I'll tell you what I think.
Aaron?
Like their promos or what they did in this promo?
Whatever
I liked it.
Whatever you've seen so far.
I mean, I liked them in this thing because they were being like somewhat goofy or whatever with their facial expressions with Terry. And I mean, I like Axel. I've never really been a fan of Ian. I mean, it's passable.
I just thought Axel's a natural, in my opinion. Axel's always been a natural, and he's always been somebody that could follow. He could lead if you asked him to lead. He could lead, but he'd rather just be a guy that wants to just be a part of the situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's a much better situation for Axel. And I'm watching Axel doing the promo, and he's shaking his head like with everything that Terry's saying, and Ian's just sitting there like stoic, like he's just staring, like almost like he's like, "Is this camera on? Where's the nearest post office? I mean, I owe people money. Are you guys taking a picture of me?
Did they? I guess
I like Ian. I'm friends with Ian, so this is not like me making any joke about Ian. Well, I'm making a joke about Ian, but I'm not bashing him.
Mm-hmm. Did those guys? Okay, first of all, did those guys get along? And secondly, how did they wind up teaming together? Did they come out of the same school? Did they? I really don't know the story about about how the Bad Breed came to be, I guess.
Well, Axel started in like the very late '80s, and Ian was a buddy of his, and he kind of trained him, and he took him on the road, and Ian had a shit ton of bad independent gimmicks before he was. Actually, I even ended up with some of his outfits. Imagine me wearing Ian Rotten's outfits, and he took him under his wing, and then he made him Ian Rotten, and then he got a job. They got a job in Memphis.
Okay,
and then it became like, yeah, I mean, they got along for a while, but I think after a while, I think it became Axel wanted to be more of a breakout star because John had a bigger problem with the office.
Okay.
Like he clashed more, Axel was more of a yay man, and
go with the flow. Yeah.
John wasn't. I'm not saying John was, combatant or anything. It was just like the actor said, why am I letting somebody else talk for me? Kind of thing. I mean, that's what I thought. I don't know 100% because there's one half here that's not going to be able to tell the story. Right.
Terry goes off on this this story about his dad killing a puppy that bit his hand. Bite the hand that feeds. Actually, not just killing, blew its brains out.
Yeah, he shot a mentally challenged dog, and then he implies that Sabu came from inbreeding.
Yes. Due to bad breeding, Sabu is mentally off, is what Terry says. So there you go. He's saying that Sabu, like Aaron said, he's essentially alluding to Sabu's inbreeding.
Well, fast forward in today's society. So we're saying that people from Bombay, India are just inbreeding. and they're training their fucking inbred fucking kids to be sadistic pro wrestlers. Like that's what we're doing. I mean, we couldn't try to teach them the fucking, you guys come up with a new fucking disease. No. You come up with a new big spot where it's going to fucking embarrass the business. Go ahead. Do it. Embarrass the business. I dare you.
Do it.
What are you going to do? Come on. That's all that is. That's ridiculous.
Was it Paul or Terry who said that Sherry looked like Bruno in drag?
Oh, there's no way that was Terry.
Yeah, Paul said that.
I was going to say, I have wrote down here, someone said Sherry, Bruno in drag, but I couldn't remember which one of them said it.
Well,
I was like, where would Terry say that?
Well, why would you think Terry Funk would say that?
Yeah. I don't know.
I gotta tell you,
he is going to be wrestling Shane.
That Sherry Martel looks like who?
Bruno in drag.
I can just see Joey Styles' face going, Terry, this ain't about Sherry Martel. Like, oh, but she still looks like Tiger Mask in drag.
All right, and then Paulie's putting over Sabu to end the show and talking about the match between Terry Funk and Shane Douglas coming up on January the 7th, 1994, as we close out 1993. Before we talk about the show and what we thought overall, here's the rundown. The first match is the Chad Austin Pitbull match. This is the rundown of Holiday Hell. Some of the stuff they have written down in this report. Did Mike Awesome initially wrestle in ECW as Awesome Mike?
I don't know.
Or is the guy writing this report just
the guy that wrote this thing's a fucking idiot? He said some guy beat the Pitbull and Awesome Mike. Awesome Mike beat this guy. Oh, and then
who was? Hold on. Who was the Hollywood Kid, Chad? Do you know who the Hollywood Kid was?
Oh, hang on a second. If you can figure out a way to kind of just mute this. The Hollywood Kid. I don't know whose fucking friend he was. He was just some fucking little small, scrawny kid that was there. And you know what? he may have been friends with Mike Awesome. Because
Mike Awesome wasn't there. It was Awesome Mike.
No. Well, Awesome Mike, he may have debuted at that show. And that may have been one of his buddies. Yeah. Like, he was like a little scrawny kid. I think he wore a little white outfit. And I think somebody threw him around.
Well, I was going to say, it says here that Mike threw him over the top rope, taking out the first 2 rows. So, yeah, he probably
Awesome Mike beat up his own friend.
Awesome Mike. Awesome Mike, yes.
Yeah.
That's not so awesome, Mike.
And then they got in the car and drove home together.
Right, because he brought the kid, because if Awesome Mike shows up, nobody knows who the fuck he is, and he's like, hey, I'm going to throw you into the second row of the crowd. They're going to be like, fuck you are. But he brings Hollywood Kid with him, and Hollywood Kid gets to be at the show and get thrown around by Awesome Mike.
I totally forgot that name, dude, until you said that. And then as soon as you said Hollywood Kid, that visual just popped in my head. I remember who that was. Yeah. I don't know if I doubt he's still alive.
Awesome Mike probably killed him.
So here's where the Rock and Rebel thing makes even less sense. Mr. Hughes defeated Sandman, which we saw some of that match. Sal Balomo threw in the towel for the Sandman and then went after Jason. So Sal was even on this show. And Variety Club, Aaron, the Variety Club, like,
it's like, I don't need you a crippled like the kids.
I'm going to throw it in the towel.
You can't pop the clutch on the van with a broken leg.
I don't think he said, I don't need you crippled like the kids. I failed to see that. I don't know. Maybe if you want, I'll go back and rewatch it. But I don't think he said, I don't want you crippled like the kids.
Kevin Sullivan and Tasmaniac, managed by Woman and the Boston Bad Boy, defeated JT Smith and Tommy Cairo to retain the ECW Tag Team titles.
Well, this wasn't on my thing here.
Rock and Rebel beat. I'm running down the whole card, even what we didn't see on the.
I'm going.
TV.
What the fuck?
What is Nate watching another fucking show? No,
I saw the. I even wrote the dog promo from Terry Funk. What the fuck? What am I going to write down about this show? It was like 17 minutes long, and like 6 of it was me getting beat up.
We had the aforementioned Rocket Rebel and Donnie Allen match, Terry Funk and Sabu. The Pat Tanaka Rocco Rock thing that they didn't bother mentioning on this show, I wonder why, took place at this event as well. And Shane Douglas won the Lights Out Battle Royal. So there you go. That is the Holiday Hell card. I'm sure we'll see. Oh, wait, no. Shane Douglas also beat Tommy Dreamer. Sorry. Overall, what did we think about this show, guys?
The TV show or Holiday Hell?
I guess either one. The TV show, I mean, it was fine, I guess. I got to see Terry Funk wrestle Sabu. That was worth coming for.
I think all in all, I think there was money issues happening between Paul and Bad Company, like during this whole entire thing. That's what I think. That's why I think that was part of the reason why all this ended so shitty. Because it was a debacle. It was a complete and utter debacle, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing went right. So why would Paul even pretend to accentuate that as part of his company when nothing went right?
A complete popcorn fart. Absolutely.
Well, that's what we're going to call it. Yes, of course.
Aaron, what did you think of this show this week?
You reading down the Holiday Hell show, I mean, there should have been the 2 matches in the middle could have been anything else other than what they put on there. Like, I would have rather seen Taz and Kevin Sullivan versus JT Smith and Tommy Cairo than fucking Rock and Rebel versus Donnie Allen. And it was weird that they put the main event on first. I don't understand that, but it is what it is. And I just think that it was a decent. It was a show that was what it was. It was. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was just existed.
I guess my question though is, do you see when you watch this show? All right, I kind of, as I was watching this, like you're beginning to shake off what this promotion was in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like this is starting to feel more and more and more like ECW. And I know obviously history is telling me that's where we're going, but what I'm saying is this show was one of the few shows that I've watched that feels like an ECW show and not the NWA Eastern Championship Wrestling show. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but to me, it's one of those shows that was like that, but it's like, okay, we're going to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Because, like, the Chad Austin Pitbull thing, that's cool because it like, obviously the Pitbulls were a staple of ECW, and it's a big bruiser guy and a shocking thing that happens with the shocking upset, and the people go crazy, and that's kind of like an ECW thing. But then we get fucking a half-ass Sandman, Mr. Hughes. Like, they don't even, they show you the middle of the match. They don't show you the start. They don't show you the finish. They just show you the middle of it. So you don't even know what fucking happened with it. Mm-hmm. And then you get the Rock and Rebel versus Donnie Allen, which doesn't even need to be a thing.
And makes even less sense since we know Sal was in the building.
Yeah, so I don't understand any of that. It's just, to me, there was a lot of filler and unnecessary in this show.
I agree. But they're definitely building something here, and I think that you got to say, I guess the MVP so far is the guy in charge. You know, Paulie's doing a great job on these shows, and
if how ECW wound up with their big shows like this, there weren't pay-per-views. If that's any indication, then we're probably going to see more of Holiday Hell next week.
Mm-hmm. More than likely.
I mean, come on, Aaron. I mean, what do you think else is in the can?
That's what I'm saying. So Nate just spoiled the next month of our viewing, but that's okay.
Well, how about me and you just wait for Nate to go find the show and watch it first, and then if we'll just go, well, we'll just skip to the next one.
Do it on your own, Nate. You spoiler. Chad, what did you think of this? The television show we watched. Do you promise? Are you still, I'm not rating this. Is it still just treading water? What do you think about the show this week?
I really liked. I really thought Funk and Sabu had something to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought that if I mean, give or take, that was what, smack dab in the middle of the show, correct?
Yeah.
Right then and there.
Yeah, if I read the show in order here, the title match was in the middle. They followed that up with Shane and Tommy, and then that lights out battle royal. So yeah, I mean, if you think of timing, they put the title match dead in the middle of the card, and
perfect. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're building your viewership right there.
Exactly. And again, showing the highlights of the match, not everything, and not giving away too much, but giving away just enough to give you a taste. This is still a company that's technically running as a local independent promotion. So their goal is not TV ratings at this point. Their goal is to get me and you to want to come to the ECW arena next time and lure us in to come buy a ticket and get intrigued by the product. And if I had watched the show...
That's why I'm very, very curious as to what they didn't show you on the version you got from the WWE Network. Where were they running elsewhere?
Right.
You know how they used to add other shows?
Mm-hmm.
They had other shows.
The Terror at Tabor. Yeah.
Tabor. Enough with the Tabor. It's Miss Montgomeryville. That's when we're going to start seeing Francine.
Well, guys, I guess we'll put a wrap on this week's edition of Reliving the Extreme. And next week, I think the show is January 4th, 1994. Like I said, everybody, we started in April of 93. We've finished up 1993. We've watched Eddie Gilbert. We've watched Sal Balomo. We've watched the Super Destroyers many, many times. We've watched a tag team championship that's been in turmoil most of this promotion's existence. But I think we're about to head to 94, and I think that this is where we're going to see some very, very different things coming up for ECW, and I'm pretty excited about it.
At this point, I'm starting to think Global's got a better grasp on the tag team tournament. Maybe they should have the Global ECW Memorial Cup.
Hell, Taz and Sullivan have been the ECW tag champs for like 4 weeks, and they're the longest running champions in ECW history at this point.
But I don't think they were even champions for 4 weeks.
Probably not.
Gave her the belts. Jeez, a whiz.
All right, any parting words, gentlemen?
I'm good. This was we got to an hour and 9 minutes. I don't know what it'll cut out to, but I'm impressed.
Fuck yeah. I told you guys about 20 minutes ago. We're gonna get an hour out of this.
And we got some good gimmicks. We got some good gimmicks out of this too. This QVC thing, we got to work on that. You left it in your cart.
That's right, dude.
That being said, everyone, thank you for joining us this week on Reliving the Extreme. Also, check out the We Can't Wrestle podcast, WrestleNet Radio. But that being said, we're going to sign off, and we'll see everyone next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Reliving the Extreme is a production of Maxin' Out Media, all rights reserved.